He is the number 5 welterweight in the world. We flew him all the way from Chicago. It is Belal Muhammad on this week's Food Truck Diaries, and I'm feeding him Paco's Mexican egg rolls on this week's Food Truck Diaries. Let's go.
Make it big, super thick. From my wallet to my check. I don't want it if it's skinny, but I need it if it's thick. Need a thick girl for the thick boy. I need everything I get, super thick boy. You ready? Used to have a model bitch, now I got a thick one. Yeah, I do. Last night went late, yeah, we had a sick one. Got very drunk. Yeah, and I like options.
Mr. Muhammad. What's up, brother?
How you doing, bro?
You are not a small welterweight, my man.
Yeah, people look at me like, dang, I didn't think you were that big.
Yeah, you walked in, like, yeah, damn. Because you do a lot of like analyst work, and when you're sitting down, I'm like, oh, he has a big head, but his body, is like, you got a head on you, so it's like he has a big head, but his body. But then in burst, like, oh fuck, he's a big ass welterweight.
Yeah, I get that. Jason Herzog told me that. He's like, man, when I was in the cage with you, I was like, man, you're thick. And I was like,
you're like dense,
yeah.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah, people underestimate it, but that's when they feel it. Like they're always sitting there when they're fighting me, like they always think that I'm weaker than I am, and then they feel it like, oh, all right, you're a lot stronger than I thought.
Yeah, and I guess what's interesting about you is you have so many like fight of the night. You're an exciting fighter, and you've won what 10 out of your last 11. Like you're on a streak, man. You look at like the Wonderboy fight, the Damian Maia fight. Like a lot of your fights, like you incorporate a ton of wrestling. So it makes sense, like wrestling's in your background, but you're not like a national champion wrestler, but you're out wrestling these dudes at, especially Wonderboy. You talk about that Wonderboy fight for you, it's like, to me, when I look at your resume, you look at your career, 10 out of 11, you're doing the damn thing. That Wonderboy fight, that's when you that's a feather in your cap, because A, his takedown defense is ridiculous. It's all he focuses on. Yeah. Like he's all good on kickboxing. You know what I'm saying? Like his entire camp is just him against the wall, trying not to get taken down. And you just took him down over and over, 50-45.
Yeah, that was literally probably the one that I was like, all right, now I belong here. When you get to those fights, you're like, all right, I beat Damian Maia, but then they're like, well, Damian Maia's old. You're like, all right, maybe Damian Maia's old. And then they offer me Wonderboy, and I'm like, dang, Wonderboy. And I was like, I've been in camps with like Anthony Pettis, who fought him. I've been in camps with T. Woodley, who fought him. And then they're bringing in specialist karate guys. They're bringing in this guy, that guy. And I'm sitting there like, bro, I ain't got their type of money. And I'm cheap. So I'm like, I ain't gonna fly somebody in. Yeah. But I was like, what, let me call up like a Sage North, cause maybe give me a look. I hit him up, he's like, oh, sorry, man, I can't come. And it's like, damn, all right, so I guess just me on my own and my team. And then I was like, well, what's the way to beat him? It's wrestling, and it's going hard. And then after I got that fight, it was like fight week, and I was sitting there like, everybody telling me I'm gonna get knocked out. Everybody telling me he's gonna spinning heel kick me. And
who's everybody?
Fans, the
like
comments.
Online?
Yeah, and even my manager hit me up. It was like fight week. My manager hit me up. He's like, brother, man, I'm excited about this.
Who's your manager?
Ali.
Yeah.
He's like,
oh, God.
Dude, hit me
Come
up.
on, Ali.
Hit me with that. Brother, you know what? We had to take this fight because, we had to show that this is top 5 guys, so we had to take it. I'm sitting there like, all right, yeah, I know. I want this fight.
Yeah, I know.
And then he's like, but what I'm most proud of is that, we got you an analyst job. And I'm like, bro, you're talking like I'm about to lose, and
man, this isn't the end, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, what are you talking about?
I don't like that, man.
Literally, I'm like,
yeah,
man, do they really think I'm gonna lose right now?
That's how it goes, though.
Yeah,
that's how it goes, especially when you fight big names, because they have such a big fan base, and they're so well known. Like even your manager, your friends, your family, your brothers, like Wonderboy, man, because they've seen the head kick and the spinning back kicks and all that shit. So that gets planted into your mind. But I think there's moments in fighters' career, and even up till then, you've beat some monsters. Again, 10 out of 11s in the welterweight division in current UFC days is nutsos. It's absolutely nutsos. But that Wonderboy fight, again, when I look at your resume, that's the one. And as you said, like you want to see if you have what it takes to be those top echelon guys. For me, I remember walking out. They gave me Gabriel Gonzaga. And at the time, he was ranked in top 10 in the world. I remember walking out going, dude, if you can't beat him, let's go get a job. Because you're never going to be like a top. If you can't beat him, like you're just going to be a guy. Yeah. So I remember walking out and I felt so kind of relieved. I was like, yeah, that's cool. Here's the decision. You don't beat him, you go get another job, dude. Yeah. So for you, and I'm not saying get another job, but I think for you, like that Wonderboy fight, who, remember, he's beat 2 guys
that beat me.
Who beat you.
Yeah.
So you have that going into it. So you have all in your managers like, hey man, it's like, I put $1,000 on Wonderboy. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have all these things working against you. And then you go in there, 50-45, pretty clear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like off to the races after that, my man.
Yeah, after that one, it was like, all right, I belong. This is me. And then, you know, you get a little cocky, but then all of a sudden the trolls are still there. Well, Wonderboy sucks anyway. Wonderboy ain't got no wrestling.
Oh, Dazzy, you weren't saying that the week
Literally,
after the fight.
I'm like literally going back to my comments of the fight week.
You can't win that. You're never gonna win this. You're never gonna win this.
Yeah, and then like you listen to like Joe Rogan, like, don't put that negativity in your head. Stop reading the comments. But I'm like,
post and goes, brother. Post and goes.
I try, but it's like you want to read because you're like, maybe they're gonna start saying good things about you now, and it's like,
no, nothing's ever gonna eat them. Yeah, because it's their reflection on you. It's like they could never do what you do. Yeah. So it's like their like own insecurities, they're lashing out at you. That's the way you got to look at it. So, and like, think about this before you're starting your UFC career. If you're like, I'm gonna take a vote on Instagram. If they say yes, I'm gonna pursue the UFC. Go, hey guys, do you think I'll make it as a UFC fighter? It'd be like 90-10, be like, hell no. Because,
yeah,
of course not.
Yeah.
That's why they're throwing hate your way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're crushing it, man. But 10 out of 11, and then this is what I like about your story. So you got Wonderboy Thompson, which has to be a mind fuck. It's like beat two guys that you lost to.
Yeah.
You know, he's impossible to train for. You have a small camp. Your manager's betting against you. But I love you, Ali. But you get it done. You get it done. And then they go, okay, what else would be a bigger mind fuck than Wonderboy? Oh, let's give him Vicente Luque as the main event. A guy you lost to. Was it your second fight?
Yeah.
Second fight, he knocked you out, which is awful. Like, so just meant to get over that. And not only do you have to get over that, but you're the main event, bro.
Yeah, that was the fight where I was
taking
like,
such a hard path.
I was like, man, does the UFC hate me? I was like, they have to have something against me. Because I'm like, you know, all right, you give me Maya. I beat Maya, one of the best grapplers that ever fought in the UFC. Then you give me Wonderboy, who's one of the best strikers that ever fought in the UFC. Then you're like, all right, well, dang, he got past those two. Let me give him somebody that knocked him out. Somebody that, one of the best finishers, I think one of the best finishers in the welterweight division at all. And it was crazy how it came about, because at first they were like, you're fighting Khamzat main event in London. And I was like, all right, let's go, book it. And I'm telling my family, let's go, we're going to London. And then all of a sudden Ali calls me, he's like, brother, hold up, we got an issue. And I was like, what? He's like, well, if you fight Khamzat in London, then Luque and Gilbert are not gonna have fights, and you know, they're never gonna fight each other. And I was like, okay. And then he's like, so pick one of the three. And I was like, if I'm picking one of the three, I want Khamzat, because you gain the most from beating a guy like that.
100%.
And I was like, let me get him. And he's like, all right, hold up. You know, it's gonna be you and Gilbert, then Luque and Khamzat. And then I was like, whatever. And then he called me again the next day, and he's like, hey, yo, it's gonna be you and Luque. And I was like, how do you keep switching off?
Why did you even ask me?
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a plan.
Yeah. I'm
Sounds like
bro,
you knew before I was going to answer.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, whatever, bro, let's go. And then, like you said, it was still you're telling everybody, yeah, it doesn't matter, but it's the guy that knocked you out. And and to have a guy that, you know, put you to sleep, and you're getting those, like, the trolls that are sending the same gif every freaking day of you getting knocked out. And you're like, I can't get past it.
And he's also gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Like, that's the other thing is, yeah, he beat you, but you've both gotten a lot better. But as much as you've gotten better, Vicente Luque has gotten a hell of a lot better too. Like, he's a savage, dude.
Yeah. And then
main event during Ramadan? During Ramadan? Who is, dude, hey, UFC, cut my boy some fucking slack. They're like, here's Vicente. All right, you beat Wonderboy. We get that impossible matchup. Now here's Vicente Luque, a guy who knocked you out. And we're going to do it during Ramadan. And go, Muhammad, you know?
I tell myself that all the time, because I did the Maya fight. I had to do the whole canter, and I was like, never again. I'm done. This is the last. I earned it where I don't have to fight during Ramadan again. But then, like I said, Ali calls you, and he's like, all right, they're going to do you and Luque. But he didn't give me a date. Then I was like, all right, cool.
Did he tell you main event?
He told me main event. And I was like, somebody tells me main event. Yeah, somebody tells me main event, I'm going to say yeah, no matter what. And then all of a sudden he said that, he's like, yo, it's this date. And I was like, well, we did it before. And then your coaches are like, bro, this is that. When you're at top 5, you got to be a little bit smarter now. And I was like, bro, it's main event. And I was like, I have to take it. And then just to get that one back, otherwise, I'm a fighter too. So it's like, oh, he turned it down, so he's scared of the guy that knocked him out.
Yeah. No, I get both sides.
Yeah.
I wish your manager in the UFC would be a little friendlier to you, but they're not doing you favors. So again, you get past the Wonderboy test, you get past the Luque test, main event, and then here we are. And to be honest, before you came in, I called Chael Sonnen, because I like to bounce ideas off Chael for the division, stuff like that. You're in a tough position, my man. The division's in a tough position because, You got Kamaru Usman, who's, you know, the pound for pound GOAT right now. Welterweight, you know, I think even Rogan Dana said best of all time. You know, there's debate for that. I actually agree with that. But so you have this GOAT at the top. He has to have hand surgery. So we don't know what's going to go on there. He's supposed to fight Leon Edwards. So you got that, right? You got that. Let me paint the picture for you. This is how messy it is. So you got Usman and Leon Edwards, and Leon, has earned it. That poor guy has earned it. Yeah. You have history with Leon. He's poked you in the eye. So you have Leon Usman here. And then you got over here, you got Colby and Hamzat, two guys that I would love to see you fight. And we're waiting to see what happens there. The problem there is Colby got sucker punched and might have some brain damage from it and a chipped tooth. And there's a lawsuit, so we don't know what's gonna happen there. And then here's Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? It's like, between the guys who have been fucked over the most are you and Leon Edwards.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like we deserve to fight each other. But like when you're looking at it this way, I'm looking at it as, all right, Usman, he's earned the right to, you know, heal up. You fought 3 times last year. You have an injured hand. You don't want to rush your champion back. If I'm Leon Edwards, I fought 1 time in 3 years against Nate Diaz. And do I want my next fight off of a Nate Diaz fight to be the champion? Or do I want to get in the cage, and if you think you're the champion, you got to beat everybody anyway.
Yeah.
So why not fight somebody? And even then, I'm sure Usman would be the type to be like, yo, do an interim title.
That's what I think happens.
I'm going to be out.
That's what I think. I think there's an interim title. I think if Colby and Hamzat fight on ABC, and was that July or August? Do we know?
I think that one's in July.
Yeah, so if they do that ABC and they figure out with Colby and Hamzat, I think that fight's for the interim.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
For me, I don't think Colby's going to take it, though. I don't think Colby's going to fight Hamzat. I think, you know, like you said, I think if he goes to court saying that I'm accepting a fight, then the court's going to be like, yo, you're talking about you have brain damage and we're suing this guy.
But you're taking a fight.
But you're taking a fight. How? How are you training right now if you have brain damage? For me, like you said, I think I'm going to get obviously brushed over if they want Hamzat to be the next one to fight.
So let him fight you on ABC. Like if Colby can't give up the lawsuit, which I think he should. Yeah. If Colby can't give up the lawsuit and he wants to, you know, put his foot in the ground and ride on that, cool. You figure that lawsuit out. Jorge and you are out of here.
Yeah.
So ding 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 ding. Muhammad for 5,000, Alex.
And literally, I make it the easiest ever. I'm sitting there calling out everybody. I'm accepting it. And then Hamzat's another one of that was like, we were going back and forth on Twitter a little bit, and he's like posted the gif of me getting knocked out by Luque.
Interesting.
And I'm like, beautiful. All right. So
do it.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
You do it. Let's get it. And I think it makes sense. When you're looking at the top 5 of the division, Gilbert's already fought Usman. Colby's already fought Usman. Leon's actually fought him already, but all right, well, you give him that shot. But me and Hamzat are the only 2 that are fresh blood that haven't fought him yet. And I just beat a guy in Luque who was he was going to be the substitute if the last title fight didn't go through.
Luque thought he was going to get a title shot or be a late replacement, like to fill in there. Yeah. Or he thought he was going to get like a Nate Diaz fight. That's what when he was on Food Truck, and that's all he was campaigning for. Yeah.
Yeah, and it made sense because his streak was so much. So like, all right, well, I take his juice now since I just beat him.
Yep.
So.
And I think Ali hired that dump truck to interrupt this interview. Ali, be cool, man. Well, so we'll continue this. Let me feed you some Mexican egg rolls. Because you don't have a fight coming up yet, so we can't eat. So let me feed you these Mexican egg rolls. Hopefully they're good. We'll continue this. Let's go eat, my man.
I need a thick girl. I need a thick. I need a thick girl.
How you doing, boss?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. Thanks for doing this. Mexican egg rolls.
Correct.
It's just like
it's an egg roll, but we're just filling them up with Mexican food.
Would it be like a deep fried mini burrito, right?
Kind of like a chimichanga, just not flat.
Oh, gotcha.
Right?
Got round though. Right.
Yeah.
What do you recommend?
Everything we put on there is good, man. I mean, everything we make, if we wouldn't eat ourselves, it wouldn't be in our menu.
Makes sense. What are you thinking, man? They have this shit in Chicago?
No, never heard of a Mexican egg roll.
Yeah.
But we do have great Mexican food in Chicago.
Right?
Yeah, Chicago has great food.
Yeah.
Pizza's overrated though, right? Am I right? Am I right? A little bit?
I'm a thin crust pizza anyway,
Me
so if people come at me
dude.
saying that, oh, it's about the deep dish. We have great thin crust spots in Chicago that are really good.
Yeah.
But we just don't get the credit because everybody thinks about Chicago, they think deep dish. But we got some really good thin crust spots.
Deep dish is trash.
Yeah, I'm not a deep dish guy. I don't really
I mean,
like
it's lasagna. What are we
Yeah.
What are you doing? All right. Man, I'm trying to think. That Carnitos Nachos one sounds nice. Or that's
actually nachos, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. That's straight up nachos.
Yeah, those and chorizo fries are, that's just the side ones right here.
Oh, I thought it was like nachos and then you just take like
make
the
a jumbo egg roll wrap, right?
Yeah. Which one would you recommend though, like for a first time for us?
The birria? The birria is really good.
Which one's that? Where's that at on here?
It's I kind of forgot to put it right in the center right there.
Oh, it's right here.
Oh, I see it. What's that one?
And it's beef, but we do a marinade and we marinate overnight, and it just has really good flavor. It has a bunch of chilies inside. We got 4 different kinds of chilies in the marinade, and then we give that with a side of consommé, which is the au jus, pretty much.
Oh, gotcha.
And that goes with cilantro and onion inside. We get in the side as well.
Those tacos are popular in Chicago. Birria tacos.
Really?
Yeah, they make.
Yeah.
It comes like its own little soup, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the consommé.
I'll do that and the Carnitas Nachos.
Okay, let me see.
You don't have anything scheduled, so you can kind of go.
No, yeah, I could. Yeah.
You don't want to go
It's
Patty. You don't want to go Patty Pimlet crazy.
Oh my!
You feel
Like
me?
literally, I was in Vegas with him. I was like, "No way, you're really that big! Like he's legit huge."
Dude, I did a food truck with him. I was like,
So the,
Oh, you did it with him? I was
Yeah.
like, "Bro, what did he?"
oh, he went
order
nuts
everything?
too.
Yeah.
Nuts. Yeah.
So
He's the best.
The nachos come with it has sour cream, guac, it has jalapenos, pico de gallo.
Yeah, fire it up, man.
Everything on it?
Yeah,
Okay, good.
Trying to shit my pants.
Okay.
Aren't you on all meat diet too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My only cheat meal is these food trucks.
Oh, really?
So we do 2 in a week. It's not good, but what
So
can
you don't do no veggies at all?
No, nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah. I eat like a big cat at the zoo, my man.
Yeah. Well, my cousin was doing it, and then like we went to a restaurant. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna cheat a little bit." He got like a salad. I said, "You cheat with a salad?"
Yeah, it's not
I don't eat
cheating.
vegetables at all. And I was like, "All
That's
right."
not cheating. No,
Yeah.
this is cheating.
Yeah.
And I'll feel terrible for the rest of the night.
Really?
Yeah, but yeah, you can't really be on a diet on a food show.
Yeah.
It's like the worst
Okay,
show
Brandon,
ever.
so that's all you're gonna take?
Yeah, no, whatever.
Okay.
I'll get the birria and the chicken tinga.
Okay.
There's no pork or anything in those, right?
No, chicken tingas, chicken, birria is beef.
Okay, cool.
Awesome,
You guys
brother.
want something to drink? You want?
I got Diet Cokes.
You got rice water or no?
I don't have no rice water.
say rice
I'm on
water?
chata.
Horchata? You never had it?
Oh, yeah. Is
Yeah, we
it
don't make no
horchata?
waters.
Horchata, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll get these out to you guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Rafa.
Appreciate you.
Remember, I used to dream about this shit before I grew up. How I would put the team on if I blew up. I get the money for the click and get the crew love. And now the crew up. Now everything I do, big, on my high end. Oh my God, look at what happened. I'm not saying that I made it, no. But I'm feeling like I'm getting close. Big, on my high end. Oh my God, look at what happened. I'm not saying that I made it, no. But I'm feeling like I'm getting close. I said I would come up with the team on. Fast forward, okay, that's the shit that we on, yeah. They just trying to help, but I don't need no one. They just trying to help, but I don't need them at all. I just went and did some shit they never seen before. Going back and forth, I switch them up like either or.
Let's take a little break from chatting with Belal Muhammad on this episode of Food Truck Diaries because, man, maybe you don't feel like getting up early, working out, whatever it is, you've lost your motivation or you just can't fit into your busy schedule. All good. What if I told you could work out from home? That's right. There's Peloton. I have one in my crib. I got one in my freaking garage. Peloton, that's how I got started on my bike career, man. I'm still on there. Been a member for 6 years. I've owned a bike for over 6 years. My name on there is Thick Prez with a Z. Thick Boy Prez. It's Thick Boy Prez. You'll see my username. Follow your boy. I love Peloton, man. Peloton has a team of world-class instructors ready to motivate you 24/7. Peloton has thousands of live and on-demand classes, so you always keep it fresh. And the music, say what? I love the music. They have EDM, hip-hop, rock, whatever you're looking for, we got you, man. Maybe you're looking for a 10-minute upper body stretch between the calls or a 40-minute run on the Peloton tread, whatever it is. I like the 30-minute Tabitha, all right, the tabs. That's my favorite with Robin. Whatever you're looking for, you can get a great workout in. Right now is the perfect time to try out Peloton. The Peloton Bike Plus is now $500 less. It's the best price ever, including free delivery and setup. And there are more game-changing prices available on the original Peloton, which I have, and the Peloton Tread, the treadmill. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more. Again, visit onepeloton.com to learn more. Now let's get back to the program. All right, my man. It looks good. Nacho standard. They went over the top of the nachos. Mexican flag. That's cool. But you know, egg roll, Mexican. Looks legit.
First time trying the
Came
Mexican
with like
egg
an
yolk.
au jus. It's tasty. Oh, you got the same one. Yeah, it's good. It's really good.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it is
Yeah, it
really
is
good.
nice. In Chicago, where's your go-to? I mean, Chicago food, man. What's your go-tos?
For me, I think we have some of the best steakhouses in Chicago.
Agree 100%. What? Gibson's? Downtown? I go there all the time.
Gibson's really good. RPM steak is really good too.
Yeah, you guys have great steakhouses.
Yeah, and it's one of those where you get to the point where I had the point where I was like eating out literally probably like 4 times a week after a fight because you're celebrating, and then you look at your bank account statement and it's like, bro, I spent like $1,000 this month just on a
Easily.
steak. Yeah, and then for in my culture, it's like if we're eating out, I'm gonna pay for the meal. Like if I invite you out, and it's always like that, and you're like, hey, yo, these meals are starting to get $600.
Yeah, I
I think
feel
we
you,
got to
man.
start going split bill on this.
It's not even in my culture, but I think it's the culture of fame. You get a little bit of fame, everyone's like, oh, Brendan has this. I'm like, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
And it gets to that, yeah, you get to that aggro point where it's like, but 90% of the people that I hang out with, they're all like, oh no, let's go, let's play it. It's me. It's not like they're not pushing it on me.
Yeah,
but I'm never
pushing
gonna
it.
I'm never gonna let them take it over me.
no. Because you surrounded, you came up with what, 3 brothers?
Yeah, 3 brothers and a sister.
Damn, big fam, dude.
Yeah. So
And you're where at?
I'm in the middle.
You're in the middle.
Yeah.
So you got how many older brothers?
I got 1 older brother and older sister, and then 2 younger brothers.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
And they're huge fans, I'm sure, of what you do.
Yeah. My brothers, they're the ones that like my older brother was the one that like pushed me through it to do it more than anything. Like even when I was in college, like he bought my first car for me. He was like, yo, you don't need to work, do this, do that.
Focus, yeah.
Yeah, he was just like giving me money whenever I needed it. And then, even with my cousins, I had cousins where I worked in their store and they'll like set up the schedule for me where I could go train. So like I'll work the morning shift from like 9 to 4.
Because they know the vision. Like,
Yeah, and
what
they
it
see it,
takes.
and they see that
Yeah.
I'm dedicated, and they want me to get out. Like even when I went to school, because I went to college, and it was always like, be different. 90% of the people that I know, it's like, right when you finish high school, it's like, all right, I could work in the store, I could work in the business, get paid cash, and then that's what everybody does. Then you open up your own business, you build your own money, then you open up your own store. Everybody does that, and everybody thought that. It was never about school.
But I'm sure obviously you have the support, but did everybody think you were going to be this damn good? 10 out of 11 welterweight division in 2022, and then also number 5 in the world. Like you're either your next fight is for an interim title or you're 1 fight away from fighting for a world title. Like that's the only way I see it.
My older brother was the type right when I got into the UFC, like, give us Matt Brown, give us Carlos Condit, tell him stop doing that to you. And my coach is like, bro, we got to build up. No, he'll kill all of them. And he's like telling me that. I'm like, bro, shut up. This is freaking Carlos.
Doesn't work like this.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I don't know what you want me to do.
Yeah,
And then
that's brothers though,
Yeah.
My brother's my tour road manager.
Oh, okay.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. So he's always telling me that. But then, like, you have those people around you that are like hiding behind the scenes haters, where like they don't message you or say anything to you, but then it'll be like after you win the fight, it's like, oh, they'll post about you. My uncle,
There's nothing worse.
after my first fight, my uncle was like, after I won my first fight, he was like, well, at least, if you lose the rest of your fights, at least you can say you won one in the UFC.
Okay, that's not what we're going for.
And I was like,
Such a hater
I was like, it
mentality.
was like right after the win. He's like, at least you got to win, huh? And I was like, such a hater. And I was like, bro. And then now, like, we don't even, like, we barely talk. But I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
where
knew you
they're
were a
at.
hater from the beginning, yeah.
They're either a hater or they just don't understand. Like after I did my first special on Showtime, my dad didn't come. It was a big deal. And then the next morning, my dad calls me and goes, how'd your speech go? All right, well, that's where we're at, man. He apologized for that now. I want that on record. He did apologize.
Really?
But yeah, I think you need that support. And for you, especially the level you're at now, top 5. Again, we were talking about before we got these egg roll Mexican food, where it's like the division's kind of, it's in a weird place, man. Because Kamaru and Leon Edwards supposed to fight. Colby and Hamzat supposed to fight potentially. So let's say that happens. What do we do with Muhammad? You know what I'm saying? Like, then what happens? If those 4 fighters,
Yeah.
that happens, where you at? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. I mean, that literally leaves me on the outside. But then for me, I'm a guy that's, all right, well, if I have to, I know they never wanted to hand me anything. So if I have to go up 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4 is Gilbert Burns. And, I don't think he really lost any stock from beating Kamzat. I mean, losing to Kamzat. I thought it could have went either way. So, like, if I have to go to 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm like, all right, let's go.
What about if they offer you someone who's not ranked in the top 5, like a Sean Brady or something like that?
For me, I wouldn't do that because it's like you get to this point right now where I had to claw my way to this level right now, and it's like,
have you ever?
Yeah.
You and Leon Edwards, man.
Yeah.
It's like you boys, man. You deserve it all.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, it's not like I was handed anything. There's guys that come into the UFC, they win 2 fights like it comes out, and then they're at the top right away, or like they're superstar right away. For me, I was like, bro, I had to go through the valleys, the highs, the lows, and you guys didn't help build me. Like I built myself up, and even with for myself is like, I started a podcast, I did this, and then it's like, all right, you know, my manager and stuff got me the spot as an analyst, but like, you know, I still earned that spot. I still got there, had to be good to be an analyst.
100%.
And it's like for everything I did, I worked hard for every little spot I have. So I'm like, I'm not gonna sit there and just give it away or just go take a step backwards.
Yeah, it's not worth the risk. Like
Yeah.
you work too hard to risk what you've built on that. It's a good fight, but you know, it has to be top 5. It's just sometimes it's just the timing, the division, which I would hate to see that for you. But then also when you talk about you've earned it, like, you know, I think too, if I'm the UFC, and I don't know how their meetings go down, they kicked me out a long time ago, but I think if they have their meetings, you know, you're a guy who speaks well, right? You just train your ass off, you're a good person, so it's like your history is something they can really market. But then also, like, you know how hard it is to get an analyst job in the UFC, right? Like, everybody wants that job.
Yeah.
Everybody, man. So for you to even be in the rotation, I mean, you look at the guys who are trying to get in there, like you have to be a real special skill set, man.
Yeah, and man, it's a lot harder than people think. People think it's a lot easier. I'm like, bro, this is hard. And then I'm like a perfectionist, so I'm sitting there still thinking about, man, I should have said this when it's that from like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking up like broadcasting schools and stuff like that because it takes practice and it gets, you know, it's different to be in front of a camera and stuff like that.
But what helps you is how long you've been doing your podcast, which is good.
Yeah, about 2 years now.
2 years. So just getting the reps on that podcast, just to filter out and flesh ideas out and then engage, and then also on podcasts like probably the toughest lifting job I have is Calabasas Fight Companion. You know, it can be a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
So it's like that dead air. You get used to filling that. Nobody's better in the world than Joe Rogan.
Really?
Like I have buddies who are gonna go on man, what are we gonna talk about? I'm like, trust me, dude, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Let the captain take the ship. He'll never have that dead silence. Like you just do it for 10,000 hours. They always got some tools, man.
Yeah.
You know. So for you, that you have such an advantage because you're able to do that podcast.
Yeah, and for John Anik first brought it to me, he was like, always mentioning, we got to do a podcast. We got to do a podcast. He's like, I want you to do it with my brother, Jason. Such a cool dude. And then I was like, I don't want to do just like a normal podcast. I want to be different because everybody has their own podcast and everything. So that's why I made it like a game show.
Yeah.
So I had the game show aspect of it where it's like if we do have that dead air, we're like, yo, all right, let's start this game show.
100%.
And I feel like it opens up fighters too, where even with you, where it's something different, where it's like, yo, we're eating now, we're just normally talking instead of all right, so how was the fight camp? Type interviews like that. How do you feel?
Yeah.
Blah blah.
And that's my thing on this show. When I started created this show, I think people get twisted. I'm not a journalist. I'm not an expert. I have a background in fighting, and I know what it takes to go through it. But this show, I'm not breaking news. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get the story. So if you came on here and you're like, hey man, I want to talk about Chicago pizza for an hour. I'm like, let's talk about Chicago pizza.
Yeah.
I'm interested in what you're gonna do fighting, but if you told me before, it's like, hey man, I don't really want to talk about it. I'm like, cool, let's talk about Kanye West for an hour. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no agenda here.
And
so
that's
it's just
the cool
different
part about it, yeah.
Yeah. So it can go wherever, But yeah, to that point, I think you bring a lot to the table, and Ali knows that. Ali's a smart manager.
Yeah.
He's one of the best in the game. I love Ali. He's a good dude. He's a smart dude. So it's like A, you've won 10 out of 11. B, you can talk your ass off. You're not an idiot. So you represent the sport good. And then as far as whatever happens in your fight career, this analyst stuff, man. It's a tough group to get in, but you can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at a guy like Paul Felder, man. I mean, unreal, dude. He shouldn't be that good.
Yeah, I train with Paul Felder all the time, and seeing how much he's grown from, and like you said, it's like now I can get paid and not get punched in the face, and I'm still in the sport that I love. And when you leave the sport, you're always like, what am I gonna do next? I mean, you see it all the time in basketball and things like that, where guys don't know what's next and they're just lost. So to see their footsteps and talk with a DC or a Paul Felder, yo, how did you guys get so good, or how does it feel to be doing this now? And they're like, bro, just keep at it, keep growing, because your foot's in the door right now, so you don't want to lose that foot that you have in the door.
And that's the hardest part. Just
Yeah.
your foot in the door is the hardest part, and then it's on you. Like your opportunity to come, who knows? Rogan retires, DC moves on, who knows?
Yeah.
And then you're next, because you got, you look at, you got Dominic Cruz, you got Felder, and you got Bisping. Bisping's freaking great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got like these monsters, man, just like waiting in the shadows for the opportunity, and they're getting them, and you're right there, man.
Yeah.
But is it tough for you because you have and not every fighter can say this. Shit, 99.9% can't say this. Like, you have this career over here if you want with podcast analyst,
Yeah.
But then you're chasing a world title. Those other guys you're fighting, like Hamzat, don't give a shit about the podcast game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, he's focused on this. So for you, do you feel like it
gets
pulling you a little bit?
It gets a little bit when finding guests, because I'm
Nothing
the type,
worse.
I don't know nobody, but
Nothing worse.
I literally slide into DMs 24/7. I don't care if you turn me down or anything.
Do you slide into mine?
Dude, I think I slid into your DM.
God damn
And I
it,
was like-
guys.
and I was like,
I owe you.
I literally slid into everybody's DMs, and that's the way I get it. I'll have I've had huge names on my show. I had Paul Felder on my show. I had Chris Weidman, Frankie Edgar, Darren Till. So I've had those guys on my show. But then you'll get people on Twitter. Oh, Ali probably got him those guys. And I'm like, bro, I'll slide in your DMs. If you don't respond to my DMs, I go in your comments.
Yeah.
Like, yo, could you come on my
Savage.
podcast? And that's how I got Chito Vera.
Oh, Savage. Chito's the best.
Chito didn't respond to my DM, but he responded to my comment.
He's the best.
And I just got Karate Hottie last week, where
Oh,
she
dope, man. You're
it was
doing
like a
good,
year
man.
later. It was like a year later. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I just saw this.
She's all, I'm in. You're like,
Yeah.
that was 3 years ago.
Literally, I was like, bro, all right, well,
Yeah.
you're in, so I'll take it. But I was like, yo, this is like a year ago.
That's the worst part. I don't think people understand. Like when you have especially after booking so many guests on all the shows, it's the worst part of the gig.
Yeah.
It's not the worst. And then if for the reason, thank God I'm at a level now where I have people that book guys, But in general, sometimes it comes down to me, and I'm like, hey man, do you mind? You're like, fuck. You
Yeah.
have to wait from people's schedule and shit,
For you, I'm thinking it's gonna be
Yeah.
easier for you because you're at this level now. But I'm like, bro,
It's a beast, man.
yeah, it's hard. And I'm like, and it'll be Thursday. My show's on Thursday, and I won't have a guest. And I make the game show myself. I literally do face mashes and stuff like that of filters and funny stuff like that. And
And
I haven't done that.
Are you editing it?
Yeah, I'm
Editing
doing
yourself?
that. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm doing
damn.
all of that. And I'm like, all right, we ain't got no guests yet. So I'll literally slide into a million DMs at one time. But then there'll be times where I'll have 4 people respond at one time. And I'm like, all right, we're going with 4 people on the show.
Oh, damn.
Instead of wasting
And then
it.
you bank them?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Instead
smart.
of wasting them. So I'm like, bro. And it's cool because every time somebody comes on and they're done, they're always messaging me, yo, that was a great thing. Great show. It's a different show. And then having I had Chael Sonnen on the show and he's like, genius. And then just getting those
He's the
messages
best.
makes you
Yeah.
feels happy
The
about
best,
it.
man.
When you have guys at that level telling you that.
Yeah, I think for me, it's you and I haven't met before. I've always been a fan. I became a fan. I knew you were a monster fighter. I became a fan when you started doing the desk gig. I was like, oh, this dude's smart. I'm in, man.
Yeah.
I dig that because nobody can do that. But then with your fighting, the problem with this show is because you and I are be boys now. So I'll root for you. The problem is when you fight a guy like Colby. I'm boys with Colby. Or, I love Vicente Luque. I love Vicente. He's the nicest guy in the world. So it's once guys are on the show and I create a relationship with them, and then if you guys have to fight, I'm like, oh shit. And then when I go on my shop show, they force me to make predictions. I'm like, And you see especially your next fight, if you fight somebody I know, I'll just skate right in the middle.
Really?
Yeah, I'll be like, I think Muhammad got this one. But if, it's I don't want to piss anybody off, man.
Yeah.
It's a tough gig.
It's fun. Even for me, because I do I circle picks for every week. And
do you?
Yeah, and it got to the point where fans now are always messaging me, what are your picks this week? And I do the whole card. And then Ali had a big thing where all of his fighters were on he brought them all out to Vegas for an event with interviews and stuff like that. And then I forgot what his name was. Some big Russian heavyweight walked up to me. He's like, circle me my last fight. And I was like, I don't even know you look at my picks.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah,
man.
I was like, what?
I can subscribe.
Yeah, so now I'm looking at it as fighters are paying attention to it. And then I had Giga Jakasi came up to me. He's like, how come you didn't circle my teammate? And I'm like, bro, I didn't know I had to be here.
Man, yeah.
I don't even know you like that
Yeah,
yet,
there's
bro.
a lot of pressure,
But
man.
I know you now, and I'm like, bro, all right.
There's a reason why certain guys in the business don't make picks.
Yeah.
Because they don't want the backlash. For me, it's sorry, man. It's a DraftKings thing. I have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no shade, dude.
It gets hard, and then especially if you start knowing people or you meet somebody.
The worst.
And then it's a terrible matchup for them, and I was like, well, I'm picking them. I always have my uncle will message me like, yo, are these real picks? Or are you picking with your heart, or are these guys your friends? I'm like, yeah, these are heart picks. This is not my head picks right now.
I tell people all the time, never bet on my picks, because I pick with my heart. Never. If it was my brain, people are gonna hate me. Because if you want me to break it down, because then you got to break down their losses and like footwork and mechanics. Like I don't like doing that. I always tell people, I'll do the DraftKings read and stuff, but don't listen to my picks, man. I pick guys that I have relationships with, and
Yeah, but like when I get to the point now where I'm at the level where every week it's like, what are your picks? What are your picks? And then when you start making those picks out of those and they're wrong, you're like, bro, I had like 3 bad weeks in a row, but I'm like, bro, I'm picking all the fights. Like,
yeah, dude.
That's 12 fights, and then your picks suck.
Yeah.
But then you get like funny guys like college wrestlers and stuff that'll message me like, bro, your picks have been losing me money.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm glad you guys are all paying attention though.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's just like so surprising when you get those messages or somebody from like, or comment from somebody big. Like, oh, this guy, who's this guy? Oh, I didn't know this guy even follows me or checks me out. So it's like, cool, yeah.
Yeah, there's pressure with the picks.
Yeah.
You got to get dicey with that. So for you, we're talking a little bit off air about it. For you, as far as your next fight, it's kind of, and don't take this wrongly, it's no disrespect, it's almost, it's a common theme in your career, it's almost not up to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you're at the mercy of this weird 4-man tournament going on upstairs, you know what I'm saying, above you, so then it's like you're at 5.
Yeah, that's the.
It's
like,
frustrating.
and for me, like I understand it, and it's not like I understand the business part of it. I'm like, obviously, Kamzat's the biggest name, and you want to get him the biggest fight. So if there's an interim fight, I feel like they're going to try to give it to him. And it's like I'm not going to sit there and go online and like pout about it.
You don't want to bash him, but is there a part of you, obviously he didn't take the same road that you took, like you took a different path, and there's probably like, dude, come on, man.
Yeah, it's that's my part. And then because I had a million people come up to me too, where I would call them out on Twitter, and they'd be like, "How are you gonna call out another Muslim?" And I'm like, "Bro, it's not about Muslim against Muslim. It's like,
about religion.
yeah, that's not. Yeah, we're not about religion. This is about he wants it, I want it too. So like, if I see him at the mosque, I'm like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Blah blah blah. But we're fighting, and it's like, it's a professional sport. So when I tell people like, we both want the same thing. We're both grinding for the same thing. And like you said, you had that mentality like, oh man, how come this guy got it so easy? Or how come this guy's blown up? He only has 3 fights and he's already number 2 in the world. How come they gave him the opportunity when I've been asking for the opportunity forever?
Yeah.
But it's like,
where you at on that?
It's like I had to mentally like tell myself like, there's a path for everything. And like being a religious guy, it's like God's plan is his plan. His plan is bigger than your plan. And that's how I see it now.
Different.
Yeah, my plan is different than his.
I also think, guys, this is advice I'd give you, and I've been through some shit. If you put energy into that, you're gonna lose focus on what really matters. Like, all right, Dana and those guys want to build up Hamzat. That's their guy right now. Cool, man. You can't control that.
Yeah.
You can't control anything. So anything I can control, I don't put any energy in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to do my shit over here. This takes so much effort and focus. All right, I can't control that. I'm going to focus over here.
Yeah, and that's like the beautiful thing about having other things to do, where you're not getting stressed out about it. You're not waiting at home like, oh, what's next? What's next? What's next? You're like, all right, well, I can do this right now. I can stay busy with this. Or like, I'm trying to get into other businesses as well, where it's like, I don't have to sit there and focus like, man, when is the UFC going to call me? I need that check at this moment. Yeah. Otherwise, I can't eat. And it's like, well, if you guys want to do that, I'll wait for something better to come along.
Yeah, what I love about you is like, if you look at like Sugar Sean or Paddy Pimlet, like those guys make more money, off, the stuff they do on social media or appearances, than they do fighting the octagon. With you, I don't see you getting on Twitch and playing video game shit. Like for you, you're more of a businessman.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be a entrepreneurial kind of vision for you.
Yeah, and that's why I think that was just the way I was raised, where I said like, my dad had his own business, my brothers had their own business, my cousins all had like their own business, and that was always like the path. So like for me now, it's like, all right, well, I know I'm capable of doing that. So I had 3 brothers. So now we're now trying to build an empire. Like, let's do this, this, and this. And then I don't even have to be in charge of it. It's like I'm getting money now where
you're associated with it.
Yeah, where you guys could do it. Show it to me what you guys want to do, and we'll build it together. And obviously, I could use my name on there or whatever like that. But we have the money now. Now, when I was younger, it was like, well, we need to do this. We need to work for this person or that person. And your mom's always telling you, go to school. They always like immigrant moms think that school is what's needed. That's how you're successful if you graduate from college, and that's the only way to be successful. So it's like now we could do that without that.
Yeah.
And we could show that it's not like anything's possible if you just grind it.
Yeah, I think with like athletes or I'll use athletes for an example, but it's like you look at the UFC career, it's like, dude, that's such a short time in your life, man. So it's like, guys are like, oh, I was too focused on fighting, I couldn't do this other stuff. It's like, man, that's a chapter, a small chapter in your life, and guys get so attached to being labeled UFC fighter. It's like, nah, it's just something you do, man. Like that's not your identity. Like if that was just your identity, you're not doing your podcast, you're not looking at these other businesses. So it's like this UFC right now is taking your focus and your energy, and you're crushing it. But okay. Like, this is going to be such a short chapter in your life. Like, those businesses and you have kids and all that shit. Like, that's the story. That's your life. UFC is a cool experience. That's the way I look at it. Like, I guess if you're like, a GSP or something, you're around for fucking ever, like, that's different. And this is a whole book. For the majority of guys, even if you're there for 6, 7, 8 years, like, 8 years, like, such a short chapter, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
And like you said, I think a lot of guys don't understand it. And they're like, and even when they lose a fight, it hurts them so hard. Because there's like,
that's it.
I need it. That's it. What do I do now?
But this is what goes back to your roots. Like, your family instilled that in you. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, you see the work ethic your dad has, your brothers. So it's like, you've seen them put the plan together and the discipline and be successful at that. You're like, oh, that's how that works. All right, I'll get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always there for you.
Yeah.
That's all. That's your mom and dad. Shout out to your mom and dad.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
And
shout out to mama.
Even for like, when guys, I get that all the time, like, oh, how do you make it to the UFC? Or how do you do this? And I'm telling people, like, bro, don't think that fighting is gonna be an easy path. Like, I've had my coach, Lewis Taylor. We've been together since high school. He was my high school wrestling coach, and he was literally knocking everybody out. He had about, like, I think like a 15-fight winning streak of all first-round finishes.
MMA.
In MMA, and never got a shot in the UFC, but because he was like 40 years old. And then I was sitting there, he's my mentor, so I'm looking at it like, this dude's knocking people out. He's not going to get shot in the UFC. How am I going to get my shot in the UFC if he's not going to get shot? And then, finally gets his call with the PFL, the first tournament for the $1 million. Still, 42 years old now. And it's like, he's won his first fight, wins his second fight. He goes against a Russian in the finals, knocks him out in 30 seconds, wins $1 million.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he was the first middleweight champion for
he's a
PFL.
monster.
Yeah, he was the first. Like I said, it was like, he has like kind of like the Yo Romero body, where it's like, he doesn't lift any weights, but he just like jacked as heck, and like would walk around at like 189 pounds. Wouldn't have to cut weight.
He's jacked.
Yeah, just strong as heck.
all want to have a seat.
Literally, and I'm like, every time we go out, because like I train with a lot of Mexican guys, they'll look at him like, oh, you're on juice, right?
Yeah.
He's like, no, what are you talking about?
He's just a freak.
He's just literally
He
a
just
freak.
started older.
Yeah, he started older. And
So how did it end? He became PFL
he became the PFL
Still didn't
middleweight
get a
champion.
UFC shot.
Didn't get a UFC shot, and
'Cause
that was
his
like
age.
that was his last fight. And
So he retired undefeated world champion.
yeah, no, well he lost. He's lost like 2 or 3 fights, but he retired as PFL middleweight champion. That was his last fight. His whole family was there.
Great
At Madison
career.
Square Garden.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's like
You want, man.
when he was telling me that all the time, people were like, "Bro, you want $1 million in 30 seconds?" I said, "No, I want $1 million in 12 years grinding." Where I had moments where I didn't think I was gonna make it, and getting paid $1,000, trying to support my family. But it was all about the dream. It was all about the grind. And it's like,
world champion.
if you're not willing to have that mentality, I don't care what it takes to get there, I'm gonna take it. So like, seeing his story is like the craziest thing ever. Cause
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good dude.
Yeah,
You're this is another common theme with you as you're talking. You're surrounded by great people. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
people
your
that
family, your
that
coaches,
really
and
care.
a small team.
Yeah, I've had gyms. I've been in gyms where like you lose a fight, they're not sitting and knocking at your door. They don't really care. They're like, yo,
You're not the focus anymore.
yeah, they're all right. We'll move on to the next.
Those super gyms
the next
are tough.
guy. Yeah,
Those
and it's
super
hard.
gyms are tough, man.
And you're like, man, who's with me when I lose?
Yeah, yeah.
Because those are the ones that really matter. Those are the people, and that's your family or like your close friends that really like, how you feeling today? It's 3 days later, and the world's telling you suck.
Yes.
But they're the ones still next to you, like, yo.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think, and for you, like this long journey you've taken to get to number 5 in the world, and your next fight is either a title eliminator, you know what I'm saying, that you're like one fight, maybe you're right fucking there. For you, you've taken the perfect path, and you have the perfect kind of, not to shame, like entourage around you, like your perfect team around
Yeah.
you to get this done. It's just, they just have to find, like, you're this puzzle piece that they need to figure out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the people that suffer from this whole weird welterweight puzzle is you and Leon Edwards, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
So it's like you do that rematch,
And
and
then-
you get poked in the eye.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. Again, I love both you guys. I don't know Leon personally. I think technical wise, there's it'd be tough to find better right now in the welterweight division. Like, his technique's ridiculous. And people I respect, like Josh Thompson, like, dude, I'm telling you, this kid is the real. He's been saying it forever, and I respect Josh, right? But I don't know, like that fight, you and him, if it happens, great. If that works for you, I'm just not excited for it. I want you to get Hamza. I want you to get Colby. I want you to get Usman.
Obviously, that's the thing. That's the hard part, because nowadays it's about like what's going to get you the most shine or what's going to get the fans most riled up. You know, Leon obviously is a great fighter, and fighters know how good he is.
Phenomenal.
But like the fans don't really know him because he doesn't post anything, he doesn't go on social media crazy, anything like that.
And the one time that, with the Nate Diaz fight, like, he's winning. What was that? He's winning the fight every second of the fight, except for the last 30 seconds. It's clipped.
Yeah.
And then the narrative, because Nate Diaz's fan base is so big, the narrative's like, bro, if this was a street fight, this thing's over. It's like, wait, what? But it's not. This was inside doc on a professional sport. He lost every single round, dude.
I tell people, like,
the UFC was like, here you go.
And then, I'm like, yo, they're basically put on a silver platter, yo, beat Nate Diaz, steal his fans. And then, like you said, you get rocked in the last 30 seconds.
I was like, oh my God, Leon, that poor guy, dude.
I'm like, bro, if he has a title fight against Usman, something's gonna he's gonna trip over the freaking wires as he's walking out.
Dude.
Cause like literally has the worst luck.
It's such a shame, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that could possibly happen for you, and it's like, if that doesn't happen, I don't know, dude. I don't know. At least you're in a good spot, though.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think Khamzat makes the most sense out of everybody. Like, even if you want to play the Muslim card, having two Muslim fighters headline a card in Abu Dhabi, I think that'll be huge. And
that's a great idea. Has he said anything about the fight?
We've gone back and forth on Twitter before, and now I think he's at the level now where he probably has people tweeting for him because it's like, oh, let me post a title fight, or let me just post a title, or let me post like, the wolf is coming. With the Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor, where like, they won't tweet nothing forever, then they'll just tweet something, and the fans go, what does he mean by this? What's going on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, Conor McGregor's not even in a testing pool. I don't even think he's going to fight this year. So for you to think that this tweet means something, it's just like, I want attention. It's like, I'm bored right now, I'm chilling at home, let me get the fans riled up. And I think that comes up to that level now, too, where he's like, let me just tweet something to get fans talking.
And when you watched the Khamzat-Gilbert Burns fight, what was your takeaway?
I saw weaknesses in him. I saw that, obviously people are like, oh, man, he's not as good as we thought he was, but I'm like, yo, he showed that he has a chin. He showed that he got power, and it's like, you're fighting Gilbert Burns.
He's a dog.
Yeah, I'm like, I picked him. I circled Gilbert Burns, and I had so many people like, you're a liar. You don't even think Gilbert Burns is gonna win. You're just picking him because he's with Ali. And I'm like, bro, Gilbert Burns is #2 in the world. Why do you think that he's just gonna walk through Gilbert Burns? Obviously, he had 5 first-round finishes, whatever, and
savage.
Yeah, he's obviously good, but I'm like, bro, Gilbert Burns is a monster.
What was he, 11 to 13, 11 to number? What was Gilbert at the time? 2.
2, yeah.
It's like, dude, that's such a big jump.
Yeah.
Like you top 5 guys, like it's such a different animal, and I think nobody was higher on Khamzat. I was just like, dude, this guy's insane. Like he's the next coming of GS. This guy's a monster. And then when I saw that. I don't think his stock went down. My takeaway was he didn't listen to his coaches. He did what he thought he could do, which like get in a brawl, get in a war, no game plan. He still passed the test, but now the caveat on that is if Khamzat doesn't learn from that, like you got lucky. You got lucky. If that was anybody else, you have taken an L. So I think his team, and he has some phenomenal coaches, Khamzat has to go in going, all right, I can't just keep shooting from the hip. I have to stick to a game plan. So if he does get he gets Colby or something like that, there has to be a game plan. There has to be an execution of the game plan, or he's going to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
he has the dog. He has the talent. But dude, 11 to 2 is such a big jump.
And when you get to I think when people don't understand it, when you get to the top 5, if you're not, fighting with a strategy, you're going to lose to the good guys. For me, I think that these last 3 fights, I've showed that I could fight with a strategy because they're all different fighters. I fought Damian Maia, I had to stay up on my feet. I cannot get taken down. So it's all defensive wrestling. Then I fought Wonderboy, who's like, I'm not going to kickbox with a Wonderboy, so I'm going to go in there and take Wonderboy down.
Who's not easy to take down?
Yeah, not a guy that easy to take down. And I don't have college wrestling. I'm not a Division I wrestler, but fight with a strategy.
Yep.
And I dominated him more than anybody else has ever dominated him. Then you fight a guy like Luque, who's knocked me out, who has the most finishes in welterweight.
Savage.
And you're like, he's good on his feet and good on the ground. How are you going to beat a guy like that? Oh, well, with movement, footwork, and then shooting in when he least expects it. When he thinks you're going to wrestle, you shoot. You strike. When he thinks you're going to strike, you shoot.
You're being smart, man.
Yeah, and I did that. So, I showed that I could be a different fighter every single fight. And I think that Khamzat's team is looking at that like, bruh, you know what? let's look for somebody else at this moment. Let's not try to jump on it, because if Kobe's out and I'm willing to fight you, we can fight in June. We can fight in July. I'm ready to go.
Yep.
Why aren't you guys willing to step up that quick? So I think it's more so like, coach, let's wait and see. Let's check this out first.
Yeah, again, he's in a good spot. Don't get me wrong, because he's in a different spot than you, just because you have the experience. You've been through the grind. You've been to implement different game plans and beat guys that who are specialists in one thing, and you're able to strike this one, wrestle this one. And for him, it's like he hasn't gone through that process. So as much as I think a lot of guys in the division envy him, I don't, because it's the same thing happened with Darren Till. It's like when you get to the top, there's really nowhere to go, my man.
Yeah.
Because you just beat the number 2 guy. But we can't give you number 8, can't give you number 9. It's going to be one of the top 5 guys, and these guys have been through hell, man. So you might fancy yourself a brawler. You can't brawl. They're not going to brawl with you. You're not going to have an opportunity in any facet to brawl with them. Fancy yourself a wrestler, these guys can wrestle.
Yeah.
So it's like for him, he has to learn on the go, and you're in the top 5. So I don't envy that. I think he can pass the test, and he has the skills to do it and the talent to do it, and I think he will be he's a monster right now, but I just think to live up to his potential, they've put so much pressure on him. And it's like, to me, I'm like, oh man, if he could just slowed it down just a tad.
Yeah. But like
that might be the dad in me,
No, but like you said, like we've seen it happen with the guy, Darren Till, where
he's so talented.
He's next in line. This is the guy. Then he loses. Then all of a sudden the losses start piling up. And then Kamzat, you said he's very young. He's, you could have built him up way better than that. And maybe I think they were thinking about that. Like, yo, let's give him this Nate Diaz fight real quick. Build him up a little more. Let him dominate a guy like Nate Diaz. But Nate Diaz ain't dumb. He knows what you're trying to do to him. You're trying to
Nate was still down, though.
Yeah, but like he's not going to sit there and I think they were going back and forth, but I don't think he
realistically.
Really
if I'm Nate, I'm like, I'm good, dude.
Like, why?
I'm gonna let this savage build his name off me as my last one to go fight, Jake Paul or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, with Nate Diaz, it's like, yo, if I don't get finished, he won. It's
True.
Nate Diaz, and I was talking to Jake Shields too, and he told me that Nate's not afraid. Nate's down.
Oh yeah, no, I would never assume Nate's afraid.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, because you whatever, win or lose, you're still gonna have that fan base, and you go win $50 million to fight Jake Paul.
Oh, he could lose 10 fights in a row.
Yeah,
he just has that unique fan base that they just love what he represents.
Yeah,
God bless him.
And that's great. Like, what level? What do you need to do to get that fan base though? And that's like the goal. Is where like you're a McGregor, and you're a Nate Diaz, you lose 5 in a row. People don't understand that, yo, this guy's still losing. But, Conor McGregor tweets out title fight. Let me give it to him. Nick Diaz tweets out to Kamaru Usman. Oh, man, Nick Diaz should fight Kamaru Usman. And you're like, what are these people talking about? Yeah, and I'm like, what are they talking about right now? Like, how? How does this make sense?
It's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if in 2022 if you can do it. I don't know. I don't know if it's capable now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think a guy that's shown me that it's capable is Paddy Pimblett, where it's like, I was with him in Arizona.
Great guy.
He's a good dude. He's such a good dude, yeah. But it was like, the fans were like asking for pictures, and he would just like run inside the hotel. And I was sitting there outside taking pictures with him, getting selfies, doing face-offs. And then he was just like, yo, I got a scheduled picture at the, at the fights in front of the arena, like scheduled, that I'm gonna get paid for at this. And I'm sitting there like, he walked out, the fans are going nuts. And I'm like, bro, how's he getting this much love? I'm standing outside the hotel in the heat.
Sweat my ass off.
Yeah, taking a picture of every single one of you guys. And you guys are sitting there freaking blowing this guy up and just ran in the hotel. I'm like, how does it make sense?
I think for Paddy, it's like, and I could be honest, I'm balls deep, hardcore in MMA. Like, I knew he was big out there in Liverpool.
Yeah.
And then when we did a food truck with him in San Diego, I'm talking to his manager, who's a great guy. And he's like, dude, he didn't need the UFC. Like, he was selling out arenas on my show, like, in Liverpool. Like, he can't walk down the street.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? He's like, I've never seen a bigger star, man. And you remember, he's had Darren Till through there, Hardy, Conor McGregor. I think Bisping came out, like, the who's who. And he's like, I've never seen a bigger star.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, we call him the fifth Beatle. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Being in Arizona, I was sitting there like, is this good? That was my first time ever meeting him, but I was sitting there like, nah, the people in the States don't really know him like that. But, like, he walked out and he got the biggest cheer. I think he was even more than Sean O'Malley, and Sean O'Malley's like hometown.
That's his hometown.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, this guy is real. But then you got people still think that, he can knock out Charles Oliveira now. And I'm like, this stuff doesn't make sense.
This is what's great about Paddy is, you don't have guys come on and they're young guys, and if you talk to them, I'm sure you've talked to them on the show, and they're like, oh yeah, I want to fight, if it's some young guy, I'm not saying Paddy did this, but like, oh yeah, I want to fight Justin Gaethje, and you're like, bro, you have 2 fights in the UFC.
Yeah.
Paddy's not like that. Paddy's literally like, it's a marathon, not a sprint, man. So I make more fighting outside the octagon than I do fighting. So unless the fight's right, I'm not doing shit.
Yeah.
He's like, I know I got some shit to work on, but as far as grappling goes, I'll grapple with any. Like what I love about him is it's so authentic and he's aware of what's going on, how big he is, but it doesn't get to his head. Like he's good.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I just believe I have a different skill set, and I'm gonna get there, but there's no rush.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, dude.
And honestly,
You got
like,
one
a lot of
there.
guys could learn. Even like me, I'm learning stuff from him.
Yeah.
As I'm just like sitting there, just staring at him, and I'm sitting there, like you said, like making so much money without fighting. And he's like, all right, well, I'm charging you for this appearance. I'm charging you for this. Oh, I'm not gonna do this interview unless
That's
you
the
do
takeaway.
this.
That's the takeaway.
Yeah.
When I was talking, because I get close with the managers, right? Because the fighters being mic'd up, or whatever. Like if Ali came, I love Ali. Me and him talked a bunch. He does wonders for you guys. He's a monster. And it was Paddy's manager. I'm just talking to him, and he's like, yeah, man. And he's telling me what they usually charge for interviews, like basic interviews. He's like, yeah, we've had some problems with big journalists because, we're over in England and BT Sport wanted to interview us. I'm like, yeah, man, this is how much it costs to interview. I'm like, what? And he's like, you guys pay other athletes, like, soccer players and rugby and football, basketball. Like, he's as big as they are. Pay him. Dude, he's getting paid.
Yeah.
And it changed. I'm like, more guys should do this, man. Like, you get to a certain level, it's like you're giving all your time. And remember, like, they're getting views off you. They're getting paid from those views,
Yeah, no, I mean, and it makes sense. And I was
He's at that level.
I think I was at the level where I just started learning it now because, like, I had somebody, like, messaging me, like, yo, could you do a meet and greet in Detroit, in Dearborn, Michigan? Shout out to them because there's, like, a big Palestinian community over there. And then I was like, oh, yeah, for sure, I'll come down. And they were like, what's your appearance fee? And I was like, I don't know what an appearance fee is.
Oh, you're going to do it for free?
I was like, I don't know what an appearance fee is because, like I said, I'm happy that somebody wants to, like, people want to, talk to me and
I get that. Yeah.
But I was just like,
God bless you.
I was like,
you're such a nice guy.
I was like an appearance fee, but I was like, let me talk to my manager. And I never hit up Ali, but I was just like, yo, if you guys just fly me out, I'm good. And they were like, oh, well, we'll give you this amount. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I was like so happy with it. I'm like, tell my brother, yo, these guys are paying me to come out there. And then I talked to Ali, and like Khabib did the appearance for the week before.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Khabib was out there the week before, and then I talked to Ali, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing the same one. He's like, oh, are you, brother? I was like, yeah, they messaged me. He's like, all right, what are they paying you? He's like, brother, you are so stupid. And I was like, what? He's like, you are so stupid. Why didn't you tell me?
That's why you have him.
I was like, dude, I didn't know.
That's why you have him.
I was like,
let Ali use the leverage of those guys and get you paid, man.
Yeah, I was like, God dang.
You're such a nice guy, though. That's what happens, man.
I was like, it was still fun, though, so.
Well, I think whatever happens in your next fight, man, you're going to start getting paid for appearances. That's for freaking sure. Especially doing those meet and greets. Where was it, Detroit or some shit? Yeah,
Detroit.
dude, what are we doing, man?
Yeah, I was like, oh, man.
Well, I paid you in a Mexican egg roll, so hope they're good, man. But, dude, I've always been a fan from the outside, man. I love what you're doing with the podcast. If I can ever help, you got my number, man. Let me know, brother. Keep crushing it. I think, there's a big fight for you. We just got to, figure it out at the top. And then for the Food Truck Diaries, I always have my boys at Suplex in Philly fly out a shoe. I picked the shoe personally. Now, you came in here with some fire-ass Yeezys, and I don't have those, and I really want them now, so Suplex, send those blue Yeezys. But this is for you, my man, for doing the show. These are old school fire reds, man, the OGs. Original box, everything, my man. You're in Chicago.
Yeah,
what are we doing?
to.
In Chicago. So those are for you, my man.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Yeah, and your sneakers.
These are dope.
So those look dope on you, man.
Yeah, these are dope. It's funny because when I was younger, one of my best friends used to buy Jordans all the time. And my mom would never buy them for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, now when I get older, I literally buy shoes nonstop. Just because, and I won't even wear them, but I'll buy them just because I never had them when I was a kid.
Me too.
My friends used to have all the Jordans and everything, and I was like, I'm gonna buy them now. I can afford them now, and I'm like so stupid when I buy them. Though.
Yeah, and they just
these are
sit
dope.
there and collect dust. But these are for you, my man.
Man, thank you, brother.
These are
Appreciate
some
you.
of my best. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for doing the show. Keep
man.
crushing it, my man. Yep.
From my wallet to my check. I don't want it if it's skinny, but I need it if it's thick. Need a thick girl for the thick boy. I need everything I get super thick.